So I found a table at a thrift store for $7 and it gave me some ideas. I'm gonna turn it into a fortune teller's table. Let's take a closer look. This table is pretty lightweight. It's a folding table with kind of rickety legs, but we'll work on that. I've been looking for something like this because I would love to have something at game that isn't a plastic table that I throw a tablecloth over. This looks icy and really cool. Legs are a little thin, but we can work with that. I did think of putting in thicker legs, but there's a groove that they fit into right here that, well, if I put in thicker legs, that would be a problem of trying to fold this thing up. So definitely down below, there are screws that we are able to tighten and hopefully fix the wobbliness of this table. This crap needs to come off. I'm thinking of putting a dowsing chart on this, so I'm going to show you how to do a laser transfer onto wood for this, but we will need to strip this off and then we will refinish it. I feel like it definitely needs a handle of some sort here too, so that you can easily transport it.
To start off this project, we needed to open this thing up, get rid of all the old varnish and all the old stain, and I started with a Minwax furniture refinisher. This stuff is really volatile, so you're going to want to use this stuff outside. You are also going to need rubber gloves, pretty thick ones. The ones I used were kind of thin, and actually the furniture refinisher kind of ate through them after a while. So to begin with, you want to dip the steel wool in the solution and just start rubbing in circles. I decided to use a sander to finish up getting rid of all the stain and varnish. You can see here where the frame of the table is coming apart. We are going to fill this with some wood putty. I didn't have a laser printer, so I sent my print job to Staples, but before that I threw it into Photoshop. There are some other photo editing tools that you can take large images and crop them. I decided to start with a heat transfer because I have had luck with that in the past. The heat transfer was not working very well, so I went for acetone instead. The acetone method is where you cover the paper that you are transferring with acetone, and then you start rubbing along the lines of your design, and it transfers from the paper to the wood. Heat transfer and acetone didn't exactly work that well, so I had to go back by hand and fill in where I was missing lines. Yay, now for the fun part! This is where I was using a wood burning tool, and you can get these for about $20, $30, sometimes more, depending on what quality of wood burning tool you can get. But really, at a craft store, like $20, $30. They are totally worth it. This is where you put on movies and you sit back and you just basically doodle with a heat tool. You have to move very slowly. I also recommend not pressing down too hard because you can actually gouge the wood and your wrist gets really sore. I decided to make my life easy and got myself a bunch of letter stamps for my wood burning tool. Again, totally worth the investment. I can't wait to actually use these again. Yay! Finally done with the wood burning. It's so pretty. On to the staining. Alright, so you're gonna need some brushes. Again, use those gloves. You don't want to get stain all over your hands. I'm using a lighter stain on the center design and the yes and the no and the maybe, because I want those areas to look like they've really been used and worn. When it comes to the polyurethane, I'm actually not a fan of using those, it's just what I had around. That stuff gets really gummy if you let it sit too long. I know the instructions say let it sit, it's like for hours or whatever, even 5 minutes. To me, it gets gummy. I put it on, I take it off. If you need to put on another coat to get it darker, do that. The parts that I wanted to look worn didn't look light enough, so I went back over that with some wood refinisher. Okay, so now we want to protect this thing, right? There are a couple options. You can use a spray varnish, you can use a polyacrylic paint-on type of varnish, or just, you know, your good old Rust-Oleum clear spray. I decided to go with the spray because I was impatient and I'm not planning on leaving this table out all the time in the sun, so I just used a quick spray satin varnish.
Well, there it is, a $7 table from a thrift store turned into a fortune-telling table for LARP. Now, I decided not to add the handle on it because I kind of didn't want that extra piece sticking out of the side that you can bump into all the time and it doesn't feel very good. And plus, the sides of the table actually has a big enough frame that you can carry it like a handle anyway, so it was really unnecessary to add a handle. Sure, it took about 20 bucks in materials, not including a wood burning tool, which is going to cost you between 20 to 30 bucks for the lower end, which they're worth it. Those tools are also great for doing other kind of burning projects and even as a cutting tool sometimes, and I'll show you how to do that in some other projects. So what worked and what didn't work? I knew what I was getting into when I decided to wood burn the whole thing, but as you can see, it was totally worth it. It took a few hours, but you know, yes! Heat transfer, as you saw, didn't work as well as I was hoping. I don't really know why. I've had it work better on smaller projects, and that might be the issue, is this one was just too big to keep the heat going. The acetone worked way better, but still it didn't 100% transfer and I had to go over stuff. But that's okay, we worked with it. Oh, wood stripper. That stuff, I'm not a fan. You know, it works to get the first layer off, but I don't know, maybe I just need more practice with it still. I've had better results just sanding off down to what I need to work with when it comes to wood. If you like the videos I make, give me the thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, then hit that subscribe button and click the bell if you want to know when they are first up. And I'll give you any other helpful links that you might need for a project like this. Thanks for watching Thrift Store LARPer. I'm Mackenzie Jameson. Let's see what we find next time.